Hello, Facebook family. Andrew Costa here. Uh, I hope I hope you can hear me. Certainly leave a comment if you can't hear me. This is the second time I've tried to make this video because the first time I tried, the internet was really not great where I was, and so when I rewatched it, it looked pretty bad. So I thought, you know what, I'll just re-record it, and since nobody watched the first one, you know, I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed to have to sit through it twice. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick video on what is the Reformed Episcopal Church. I get some questions about this pretty regularly. People are like, okay, you're planting a church. What kind of church? Reformed Episcopal Church. What is the Reformed Episcopal Church? Like, well, it is a smaller denomination, so probably begs a little bit of an explanation. Um, so let me start answering the question this way. If you were to come visit a Reformed Episcopal service, a Reformed Episcopal Church service, what would you initially see and what would be kind of the initial markers of the church service? Well, the first thing I think you would notice is that it's a very formal service. You know, the clergy wears very specific garments, right? Usually some sort of white outer garment, either a surplice or an alb, which is just a white their white outer garments, maybe some sort of colorful stole to mark the season of the year we're in, and even some clergy, when they do communion, will put on what's called a chasuble, which is a more decorative outer garment for communion. And all these things have symbolic meaning and are meant to help tell the story of the gospel and to remind us what season of the church year we're in. So it's very formal what the clergy are wearing. There's just a lot of stand up, sit down, kneel from the people. We use the Book of Common Prayer, and most of our churches use the Book of Common Prayer that uses Elizabethan English, old King James English, and so you'll hear a lot of these and thines. Um, but the English is still extremely comprehensible. It's not anything that's inaccessible. It is Elizabethan English as opposed to our modern English. So these are formal services. There's call and response, right? So the priest might say, "The Lord be with you," and you respond, "And with your spirit. Let us pray." And then he goes into a prayer. Or we might get to the portion where you do a psalm, and the psalm readings are done by half verse. So the priest does the first half of the psalm of each verse. The congregation does the second half of each verse, and there's a call and response, a conversation going on, but it's laid out, it's specific. So these are formal services, and so that is characteristic of REC services. Underneath, what you might experience when you see an REC service is also what is it that people in the REC actually believe? What are the beliefs of the Reformed Episcopal Church? Well, one thing to make clear is they're just part of the family of what you call Orthodox Christian believers around the world. Not Orthodox in the sense of we're Eastern Orthodox, though we believe most of the same things that Eastern Orthodox folks believe. But orthodoxy meaning what have Christians believed for the last 2,000 years? Uh, the easiest way to talk about it would be like the 12 phrases of the Apostles' Creed. We believe in God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. We believe in Jesus Christ, his only Son, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, crucified, dead, and buried. So we believe what Christians throughout the ages have believed, that Jesus Christ is fully God, made flesh. We believe that he came down, he lived a perfect life, that he dies on the cross to pay for our sin, and then he's risen again 3 days later, not only proving his divine nature, but also showing his defeat over sin and death, and making us co-heirs with him in what's to come next, because he will come again to gather his church, and we will be co-heirs with him in the hereafter. So we believe that as well. uh, the Reformed Episcopal Church, in believing the things that Christians believe, we believe the Bible and its 66 books are God's revelation to mankind, that it's the clearest place where we see God revealing himself and his character to us. And we do many of the same rituals that our Christian brothers and sisters do. We do communion and we do baptism, and we do them extremely similarly. Actually, a lot of other Christian denominations borrow their language for their communion service from Anglicans, from Episcopalians. And so if you were to see an Episcopal church, you'd be like, oh, that looks a lot like a Methodist service. Like, well, actually, no, Methodist services look a lot like Reformed Episcopal services. And so we are Western Protestant Christians, just like a Lutheran would be, a Methodist be, and a Presbyterian would be. Okay, well, now let's talk about what makes a Reformed Episcopal uh, denomination distinct from other denominations that exist. And we're gonna use those three words: Reformed Episcopal Church. Reform has a double meaning. The first one is we believe in the things of the Reformation that came out of the 16th century. So in the 1500s, of course, we have the Protestant Reformation, uh, and the things that the reformers held were that salvation comes by grace alone through faith alone. They believe that the Bible was the authority over the church, and not the church having authority over the meaning of the Bible, but the Bible actually has authority to speak to what the church is doing. So we believe in salvation by grace alone through faith alone, and we believe in the Bible. Now, when we talk about salvation by faith alone, this doesn't mean that there's no works involved. The Catholic Church in medieval Christianity and up till modern day, along with the Eastern Orthodox Church, has believed that first, or that you need to blend faith with good works. And the work of having faith and doing these good works together, that synthesis brings about salvation. That's what Catholics and Eastern Orthodox folks believe. The Protestant Reformation was this belief that faith alone saves. And once faith is present and salvation is present, works come out of that. So Western Protestants, including the Reformed Episcopal Church, we don't believe that that faith remains alone. We believe that faith comes first, and faith alone saves. But then it gives birth to good works. And so Catholics and Protestants, we both believe that faith and good works are there, present. It's just a question of when are they present. And for Catholics and for the Eastern Orthodox Church, they are present together to initiate salvation. And for Protestants, it's faith initiates our good works. And so Reformed Episcopal, that word Reformed has a double meaning. The first meaning is we believe what Western Protestants have believed since the 1500s. Also, the other meaning to Reformed is that as a denomination, we reformed away from the Episcopal Church 150 years ago. There were some internal things going on in the Episcopal Church. A group of clergy and congregations said, we're not sticking around for this. And so they left as part of a reform movement to do Episcopalian church differently. And so not only are we part of the Reformation away from the Catholic Church in the 16th century, it's also a reformation of what Episcopalians were doing 150 years ago. And so in that way, we are reformed, and it has a double meaning, Reformed Episcopal. All right, so we got the second word, Episcopal. What does it mean to be Episcopal? Episcopal means we have a bishop. Our bishop is our authority. Our bishop gives authority to the clergy, and he pastors the clergy. He's the highest pastor to the congregation. Our authority comes from Christ to the bishop to the local church. That's different from, say, if you're in a congregational church, say you're in an evangelical independent church, you're in a Baptist church. Those churches have their authority comes from the vote of the body. The body votes their pastors. They vote for how you spend church funds. The authority is the gathering of the people. So if you're in a congregational church, authority is bottom up. If you're in an Episcopal church, the authority is top down. Catholics are actually an Episcopal system, right? They have the Pope, which is the highest bishop, then they have the College of Popes, or the College of Cardinal Bishops, and then they have Archbishop, Bishop, and so on and so forth. So they are also an Episcopal system. The Methodists actually have bishops, and they are an Episcopal system. And so there are different expressions of Episcopal churches in the United States. The Reformed Episcopal Church, not only do we believe the things that I talked about a second ago, we have bishops, and in that way we are Episcopal. Now, there is a double meaning to this word Episcopal. Not only do we have bishops, but we split away from the Episcopal Church 150 years ago. So our heritage is also Episcopalian. It comes out of the Church of England to the United States. And in the United States, the Church of England was the Episcopal Church. And now you got the Reformed Episcopal Church. So our heritage is an Anglican heritage or Episcopal heritage. And so that double meaning is we have bishops, and we are part of the worldwide family of Anglicans who share that Episcopalian culture and and some of that theology. All right, so Reformed Episcopal Church. We are a church. We behave like a church. We gather on Sundays. We do baptism and communion. Uh, we are charitable. We love our neighbor as best as we can. We confirm our faith to our children. We are a church, Reformed Episcopal Church. So, though it's a denomination that maybe is small enough that not a lot of people have heard of, it's not a denomination that is uh, so distinct as to be unrecognizable. We behave a lot uh, like any other Anglican denominations you see around you. We believe the same things that Protestants around you believe. Um, yes, like I said at the beginning, it is a formal way to do Christianity. I'm wearing a collar. We wear our formal things during church, but I thought it'd be good to put on this video and just say this is what it means to be a Reformed Episcopal Church. So if you ever have questions, you want to come visit, you're like, what am I coming to visit? Well, you're visiting a classically Western Protestant denomination that does church in a very formal way. Oh my gosh, talking about this is a little like talking about what is Star Wars, right? There are probably things that people are listening are saying, wait, you forgot to talk about, or you forgot to say this, you forgot to say that. Oh my God, I could go on for hours about this, but I just wanted to give a quick introduction to what it means to be the Reformed Episcopal Church. Um, Answering a lot of these questions because we have kicked off as a church plant. The Darke County Anglican Mission is in full swing, and Wednesday night we are having our prayer services at the Youth for Christ building, 6 o'clock Wednesday nights at the Youth for Christ building in Greenville. Would love to see you there. We're having dinner afterwards, and you are absolutely invited to come pray the evening office with us. Stay tuned to the channel. I've been doing the evening office a couple times a week on the channel just to get people a sense of what the evening office looks like. In the meantime, I hope that you're very blessed. I hope you're having a terrific week, and I hope to talk to you face to face very soon. So long.